Exchange the whack swag for the great swag.
Take a pair of thongs home with you.
Would you like some swag?
Yeah.
Take your support.
Hey, hey, hey. 1 2 1 2. Test.
Fade to black.
Hey everybody, welcome back to E3, Day 3.
That's right.
Last day.
End of the day, Day 3.
High energy last day.
E3 is in the past, man.
Because
Show's over.
we're all pumped up.
Come back mid-June 2010.
I would like to just note that there was no horn going off at the end of the show today. None of the days.
I'll give you a horn.
First off, I can't even remember. What was the first thing we jumped into?
These guys went to see Borderlands and Mafia 2.
Yeah,
Oh,
saw
man.
Mafia 2 and Borderlands.
Started off big then.
Yeah.
Borderlands, huh?
Yeah. Borderlands
It looks good.
looks really good. Like, wow. I mean, when I saw it last year, like game-wise, I thought it sounded like a really cool idea. And, you know, yeah, maybe it looked a little generic or whatever, but like I was kind of already on board with this whole procedurally generated guns thing, because, you know, it's basically like that kind of Diablo concept of loots.
But now it's infinite loot.
I'll tell you what the thing is.
infinite loots.
It is about the loot system now that sells me, is that they have different manufacturers.
Yeah, totally. Gun, like I've written in big notes in all caps, gun manufacturers.
So anytime you find a weapon, you know, some sort of drop, and they use the same color coding system as WoW, you'll hover over it, and you'll see like stats and stuff, and it'll tell you what manufacturer. Like they didn't know what they were going to find during this demo. Like it seemed like it was just,
Or at least they pretended they did.
yeah. Randy Pitchford really sold it.
I'm really sad that I didn't get to see that game, hearing you guys talk about it. But while you guys were doing that, I was playing Mass Effect 2, so neener.
I see you came out okay too. How was
Played Mass
playing
Effect 2. Did you play Mass Effect? It's like that, but better.
Okay, great. Moving on.
Better frame rate, no texture pop in. Like the combat is way streamlined. Like it's awesome. I cannot wait.
Then we rolled to LucasArts.
Yeah, they had some stuff.
And we saw the Old Republic.
They
They
actually
showed a little demo of that. It looked pretty
played
neat.
You were deceived.
Played like full missions.
Yeah.
in Old
The game
Republic.
looks better than I thought.
Like graphically, just in terms of detail. Like that's strong art.
Yeah, they're doing kind of, it's an exaggerated art style.
WoW style.
It's
like they've
almost
clearly,
Clone Wars-y.
They clearly learned lessons from World of Warcraft.
Absolutely. They're also showing off just a tiny taste of the Tales of Monkey Island, which the Telltale guys are doing.
That
to
was
clarify, I had said earlier that they were doing the remake of the first Monkey Island game. That is not true. That someone else is handling that for LucasArts. But yeah, the Tales stuff for the episodic Monkey Island stuff looks neat. And talking to the Telltale guys, I was reminded that there is nowhere in the world that there is a larger concentration of people who have worked on the past Monkey Island games than Telltale. So, there's a great pedigree of people who know what Monkey Island is about working on those games.
And also a great irony that they are making another Monkey Island game for LucasArts.
It's kind of, I mean, I think it's awesome. It's come full circle, and talking to Dave Grossman, the guy who's, you know, running Telltale, who was there, it seems like they're pleased about how things have panned out. So, and even Ron Gilbert, even though he's not working at Telltale, they used him a little bit, and he said he contributed. It sounded like at least a little bit, and at least kind of signed off and gave his blessing on it. So,
Jeff, you played some Ratchet, which I thought the characters.
I saw some
really
Ratchet
good.
being played. I didn't actually.
Or were they not letting people play it?
They were, but I felt it was better to see kind of all the different stuff in there.
It's got this like soft shading on it or something.
It's
weird,
like a
right?
self shadow kind of like it looks significantly different. So I mean, you know, the models and stuff look like you would expect Ratchet and Clank in that world to look, but just all the characters just look a little bit better. Like everything in there just looks better.
Yeah.
So it looks like it'll be cool, and then that's actually going to finish out the Ratchet and Clank future storyline, or at least the current arc that they're on.
Yeah.
And what they were showing is like Ratchet's got these hover boots now that he can use to just fly kind of straight, not up, but kind of boost straight ahead.
Rocket shoes.
Yeah, rocket shoes, and basically that lets him cover large ground or large pieces of ground, dude.
Distances.
Walking sucks.
Yeah, it does.
So they can make much larger levels because of that.
The most surprising thing I think we saw there was heavy rain. Finally.
Yeah, I wish I'd seen that.
Yeah.
So that was actually there.
Yeah, so I played Heavy Rain.
Oh wow.
It's really neat. It's really neat.
Wow.
It's really Indigo Prophecy. Like,
Yeah.
it's really Indigo Prophecy.
Yeah.
But it looks
But
a little more interactive than Indigo Prophecy.
Yeah, it does. But I mean, it's you walk around and have one analog stick devoted to your head, and you kind of steer. It plays like a car. Like you're holding down like R2 to walk forward, and you're moving your head with the left analog stick, and that turns your body.
But it looks really cool. It looks really natural.
Yeah,
because he
and
leads
the
off his
walking looks
eyes.
really natural, so it's like he's kind of looking around
Yeah.
and doing stuff. Yeah, it's really cool. Like some of the voice, I mean, I couldn't hear it super well, but some of the voice acting I heard like didn't sound super convincing. That's kind of the one thing about it. That,
Seemed a little stilted.
Yeah.
Like too long of a pause between people reacting to each other. and
yeah,
stuff
some
like
of that. Yeah.
So yeah, I went after that to go see Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar, the game. And I had to leave. I had to go check my phone and my camera in. They were being super tight about the security of any media from this leaking out because it's all like stuff for the movie, like assets for the movie. Like they're basing all of their like it's. I don't want to get into the details of the story of this because it's very involved and convoluted.
It is.
The movie's producer actually was there in the room and kind of gave a big long explanation about what the story is about and kind of what the setting is about. But it's alien world stuff, and apparently a lot of assets that were created for the movie that didn't get used or are being folded into the game. And the game doesn't necessarily like retell the story of the movie, but is set in that same kind of fiction. And it's I don't know.
How does it look?
Well, they're showing it on like a 103-inch experimental Panasonic plasma screen, and they were also showing it in 3D.
Man, I wish I'd gone to that now.
It was, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the 3D stuff because it's still like it's better than it has been in the past, but I still always can feel my eyes focusing weirdly on stuff, and it's distracting. Ultimately,
Right.
it looks like a third-person shooter with some decent production values, kind of Halo-ish in some ways with some of the creatures and some of the technology designs. And yeah, bioluminescent plants and 3D and viper wolves.
Dude, I love bioluminescence.
Viper wolves.
Maybe someday they'll release some assets so we can all see it.
Viper wolves sound almost as scary as Borderlands spider ants.
I say viper, dude. A viper wolf is way worse because if you see either of those, you're in trouble. A spider or an ant, it's like, I don't like that, but
That's a bug either way.
yeah, but a viper wolf, man, F that.
It's like a wolf with a snake head.
No, it's just like some alien creature, and that's what they call it. No, it's not. It's not a literal hybrid. It's not.
It's not a monkey dog.
It's not
Do they
impossible
come in
creatures.
Sniper configurations. They're a sniper viper wolf.
There are multiple. There's like a fire viper wolf, I think.
All right.
Man, we ran around to all kinds of third parties today.
And we'll see what was
Yeah.
after
We went to
Sony.
THQ.
We also saw God of War 3.
yeah,
and
you-
Uncharted
Get
2,
back to
but
Sony. I mean, the big hits. I played God of War 3.
I used a PSP Go,
Yeah, so did I.
which it feels okay.
Yeah, but they didn't. They had it blocked so you couldn't slide it closed, so you couldn't get a great feel for how it works.
I don't think too many surprises with God of War 3. I mean,
It plays like the combos that you remember definitely are
Yeah.
still there.
It looks great. Like
yeah.
the fire's coming off the
Yeah.
chain sword stuff.
Yeah,
Looks
really
really
good.
nice.
I was actually bummed they're not letting people play the single player Uncharted 2.
it was just the
They've got the multiplayer on the floor, but
Yeah.
the
They've
demo-
got they had.
yes,
They had both competitive multiplayer and the co-op.
right. But
was
the
there.
straight up single player,
Yeah,
they were just driving up there for people.
I watched some people play it, and
It looks good as hell, but I wish we could have played it because it hinges on the combat for me. Did they tweak the gunplay to do you still have to pump like 15 rounds into a guy to kill him? I mean, they say no.
Well, we got an interview
We
for that.
talked to Evan
Check that
Wells,
out.
the director of the game, and he says no. He says that they took that to heart and they really focused on that. So that's cool.
I played Mag.
Yeah. With the internet down.
The internet went down as I was playing.
Okay.
It sounds like it went down across the entire show.
Yeah, that was about it. For
we got around to some third parties. I played Tony Hawk Ride, which you totally stand on that board.
And you're gonna break your neck?
I think that someone may
Like a kid going crazy on it?
No, because kids going crazy. Kids go crazy all the time.
And they bounce off stuff?
It's going to be some like older adult that screws up and
breaks his
like
wrist.
I'm trying to play while I'm drinking a glass of wine. You know, it's like it's some stupid house party, and then he breaks his wrist on a coffee table. Like that's what's going to go down with that game. But only because people are dumb. Ride seems interesting. Like the demo that they were showing, like you don't steer. It was on like the easiest mode, so it's like you'll kind of skate a line, and you can, do manuals, and you can hit a rail or not hit a rail, depending on kind of what you're doing. And just the basics of skating and grinding and that sort of stuff seem cool.
Right.
Like, what kind of depends on what kind of game they build around that controller, but it seems okay.
Cool. And then was it
Vinny, you and I went to Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers Interactive, make some noise!
Saw Lego Rock Band.
Right,
talked to one of the producers of Lego Rock Band from
Lego Rock
Traveler's
Band
Tales.
Could not be more Rock Band. It's like a skin. It's like a
Is
rock
it really?
band.
It's
what I kind of expected.
I mean, yeah. They're talking about some new challenge mode stuff, but it's very much it's Rock Band
You
with
played some of
Legos.
that?
Yeah, I went up
Song?
there. I sang some Vampire Weekend.
And then we played Batman.
Played some Batman Arkham Asylum. That seems interesting.
Is that cool?
Yeah, like decent balance of some good good feeling hand-to-hand combat, like fighting a group type stuff, and some
Just like
sneaking
Batman
around,
Auto.
some sneaking around stuff, and there's some good Batman touches to how you can take out enemies. So,
Cool.
yeah, it seems like that'll be a fun one.
Yeah, we were over at I guess THQ at that time. They showed a demo of Homefront, which actually looks pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
Like it's all Homeland Invasion. It's like 20 years in the future, and America is occupied. I'm not sure who the occupying force is.
It's the Koreans.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. They have this
It's
thing.
being written by the guy who wrote Red Dawn.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. So there is some pedigree.
Talk
for
about
it.
a one-trick pony.
I know, right?
And, like, it seems super Call of Duty-esque, just big ass like explosions, lots of set piece stuff. They have this thing called the drama engine, where so the example they gave was like, dude grabbed a rocket launcher, ducked down behind a car, and there were these enemy jeeps coming in, and he shot one of them with a rocket launcher, and it flew in the air and then skidded like 10 feet right by him, like barely missed him. And
but it's supposed to.
And they were saying that that's dynamic based on like where you are. Like the drama engine basically like
It'll always be,
makes
like,
stuff
5 feet
always
away
like
from
fly
you.
at you.
Right.
Like so,
That's actually
wherever
really
you
cool.
are, like that's the center, that's the focus of the action. So, they're just to kind of keep the excitement up. So
It's an
that
interesting
looked-
concept.
It looked pretty good actually.
Cool.
And then SOE.
Yeah, we went to SOE, Ryan,
Which,
checked out some stuff.
Which actually, you know what? DC Universe Online looking pretty good.
I was more impressed by the agency, just because I feel like that's a little bit more of a departure from your standard MMO format. Sorry, man, Matt Rory. Saw some Alpha
Rory,
Protocol.
Esquire.
I think it's looking good.
It looks like more of a shooter now than it did a year ago.
There was a lot of shooting it before, but the last time they showed it, they were definitely focusing more on kind of talky stuff, which I still really like. I still think the talky stuff looks good.
Smartly written, it seemed. A little bit I saw like some humorous lines in there.
It's pretty witty.
Yeah.
I love.
You do bash an old man's head into a bar and then break him over the head with a bottle.
And then say vodka.
And then say vodka.
Just to make fun of that guy, though.
Yeah.
I love the timer on your responses, because like the thing that bugs me about like BioWare in some games, like you stand there, your guy shifting his weight back and forth for like 10 minutes,
right?
If you want, while you decide what to say.
Like you could be in the middle of some crisis situation and you could just stand there forever,
like stuff blowing up around you.
Yeah. Whereas this, it's like as soon as they start talking, or as soon as your options show up, a little timer starts shrinking down.
So
and
by the time the timer ends and you say something, it fits perfectly with the
It makes
conversation
the dialogue
flow.
just seem really natural.
It sounds like it flows.
Yeah, I really like the look of that game and just kind of where it's headed. I think it just seems really interesting.
Yeah.
It looks less like Mass Effect now than it does last year. It does look more actiony,
right?
But still, similar kind of dialogue trees and character upgrades and like special power systems.
Yeah.
Just more spy, less space.
Sure.
And then Brad, you saw Bayonetta.
Bayonetta is kind of crazy. That's a wild game.
Continues to be kind of crazy.
Every level I see from that game, you're like on a slab of concrete flying through some kind of like weird netherworld.
Did they let you play it?
Not at that demo.
Okay.
They had it playable on the floor, but this was like Kamiya was there talking about it and showing some stuff that they weren't showing anywhere else. So,
and we brought it all home, going over to the Konami booth.
Yep.
Played some Silent Hill for the Wii. Brad,
That was awesome.
You got
That's
you're
weird.
looking into that.
Brad
That
took
game-
this weird test when he was playing it that
man.
asked him like weird
That game
sexual
is-
questions.
Oh, dude, we should save this for the podcast.
Yeah,
but, dude, like that game
generally,
spies on
yeah,
you.
it's like profiles every choice you make.
Like it starts out, you're like in a psychologist's office taking
wow.
this like personality questionnaire, and
Yeah.
it starts out like, you know, what's your favorite color or whatever, and then it gets down to like, have you ever role played in the bedroom? Like, have you ever cheated on your spouse? All this stuff,
and then
like,
it gives you less ammo.
and not only that test, like all throughout the game, like I'll go into more on the podcast, but like it tracks everything you
Yeah,
do
that
and
was
changes
interesting.
all kinds of little stuff based on that. So that's kind of creepy.
You and I both played some Saw, and
Yeah.
that
That
if
was pretty good.
it's got more of the gory puzzles in it, that'll be good. If it's got less of the combat, because the combat looked a little shoddy.
Combat was
Didn't
kinda
really
janky,
enjoy the
but-
combat, but I thought the gory puzzles seemed interesting, and there's good tension to it. So I think that's what you want from a Saw game.
And it was as sadistic as Saw should be.
Yeah,
pretty uncomfortable.
And then Jeff and I went and played some Karaoke Revolution and some Dance Dance Revolution.
What a way to end the show!
which that's what they're calling those games.
Yeah, no.
Like they're
fancy
rebooting
names.
they're rebooting both of them.
No.
It's Karaoke
DDR
Revolution and
Kablamo.
Dance. I mean, I think we played the PlayStation 2 Dance Dance Revolution, and we played the Wii Karaoke Revolution.
All right.
Then the show was over.
And then the show's over, and now we're
man.
here, and then we're gonna go home.
We saw some video games.
We saw a bunch of video games.
Yeah. So we'll talk more about those video games on the podcast.
Yeah, and more video and
stuff,
more stories are going to keep leaking out of Giant Bomb over, I'm sure, the next week or
There's
so.
going to be one leaky ship for the next few days.
Yeah, got a bunch of interviews and stuff, and those should be going on.
tons of interviews on the way.
Excellent. So there you
It's
go.
Giant Bomb from E3. Bye.
I'll stop the world and melt with you.
Oh man. Give us a hint as to when we could see some more announcements on the DSiWare front, maybe like virtual console kind of stuff or anything like that.
Yeah, that's right. Get down. You only exist in my mind. Oh, that's always the craziest stuff.